Hey guys, welcome to a new series on my channel. Stardew Valley. Pretty sure you guys know the game. Pretty kind of old game, but I'm gonna put a little twist on it. Uh, this is gonna be the start of a new game. Gonna be like a therapy session. I know you're probably like, what do you mean therapy session? This is therapy farm. Oh shit, hold up. Therapy farm. Favorite thing? I don't know. Well, I don't know what's my favorite thing. It's just that. So let me go a little more in depth to what I mean. Um, right now, 2020, COVID, and everything, um, kind of got us all fucked up and shit. But honestly, this is kind of just me. But I don't know. It's kind of like a mess right now. This is just standard. And right now, I don't have a job. I'm an adult already, but I don't really have anything going for me at the moment, money wise. So I can't afford a therapist. So this is gonna be the not replacement, but just until I can find something. I am going to school right now. I don't think I'm just like sitting at home doing nothing. So I'm looking for a part-time job right now. Cause my last one it didn't fire me, but it wanted for a full-time person, and I couldn't do it because of my classes. So they found someone else to do it. That's fine for the hair. Shirt. But yeah, so I'm looking for that. But so I'm trying to do this just to get out my emotions and everything. Which is, I don't think anybody's done this before. I could be wrong. I didn't really check, but if someone has done this before, then I'm doing it too. So let's just click our character. I think this shirt with like black pants. That should be fine. I have a beard, so let's put a beard on this guy. Alright, hair color. I do have black hair, that's fine. So yeah, so this I should have skipped the intro. This I don't know what this series is gonna be. I also wanted to let's play Stardew Valley because I haven't done it in a while. But I've tried it before, but it's kind of hard to talk over a game that's like really long, and it's kind of like there's nothing like dialogue that often if you don't talk to people. And this game is, cause sometimes I kind of just go into it, farm, and don't talk to anybody except for the person I want to marry. But I don't know. This is kind of weird for me to talk about this shit, cause like I know right now the people who watch my videos are my family members, but most of them speak Spanish, and my younger siblings don't really watch them, so I think I should be fine. And it's not like I don't want to talk to them about all this stuff. I just kind of find it hard to talk to them. So it's kind of weird though talking about this because I'm talking to nobody yet. I'm talking to everybody because nobody can watch this, and I'm talking to myself about all this. Which I do know that just talking about your feelings, I guess, helps generally. But if eventually this does get viewed by people, then like some random person or some family members are gonna just know everything. But I won't go into specifics about certain situations because some of the things aren't my business, or they're my business, but they're not my things to tell. So I can't really say anything. And if you haven't like kind of catch up with things, I probably won't talk about the game that much. I will some points, but for the most part, I'm probably just gonna go on with what I have to say about what I feel and what has happened and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know where to start with this. Let's kind of just go through this. Well, I guess I should probably start a little bit about myself. I am currently 19 years old at the time recording this. I said I am in college, a community college. This is my first year, and for people who know this, like you should be in second year, 19. I didn't have to technically. I did skip a year of college, and I'll get into that because that is part of the reason why this is a thing that I'm doing. Let me skip all this. And I might have to cut some parts out because I might get interrupted here and there. Okay, sorry for the little cut. Like I was just literally just saying I got interrupted. So let's see what this is. Oh yeah. Okay, so I have to get used to his controls again. Okay. So first we're gonna just clean up the farm, but I don't know where to start with all this. I think eventually I'll change the settings to where. Yeah, I don't think you guys want to see the mouse cursor. But that's usually how I do things. But okay, so I guess, yeah, I told you I'm in college. I skipped a year. So this is kind of weird. I don't really know where to start with this. So right now, like I said, I'm going to community college, and this probably wasn't the best game to pick to start this because I can barely even speak as is like about this stuff. So I guess let's start with why I did this. Like I told you, I have kind of lack of funds right now because I'm doing college and I'm not paying for it out of pocket necessarily, but for some expenses, they things don't get covered by like scholarships or for example fast food. If you guys know what that is, it's kind of just like, I appreciate you guys know what that is. If anybody's watching this, they should probably know what that is. So we kind of finished everything that I do here, so let's go to over here. But I don't know how to start this. It's kind of just like I have siblings. I have a sibling that's older than me, so yeah, I could talk to them about it, and I do plan to, but I don't know, it's kind of difficult to like come out and be like, hey, these are my problems and I've been dealing for them for years. So, but I do plan to talk to them about it. But first I'm gonna tell you guys, so as you can see, I'm hesitating because I don't really know how to start this. I don't know. I think one of the things that we all kind of share, and that I kind of feel like I don't experience it the most, but I feel like I spend a lot of my time worrying about it, is being alone. Not in a sense of like, oh, I have I guess like, oh, I'm like around with all these people and like no one pays attention. Not like kind of like that, but like actually being alone. Like coming out of, I guess goes back to high school. Coming out of high school, or going into high school, I had an extreme number of friends, like a good amount of friends. Like a group, it was like at least 15 of us, and I know a lot of people like, you always go into high school, like with a whole bunch of friends, and I expected that to lose some of the friends, but just jump into the future. When I graduated, I literally, from my original friend group, there was no one, and I ended up talking to one person, just one person, and that they're younger than me by 2 years, and they weren't in my original friend group. I met them my sophomore year, which is like, you're like, oh, that's great though, you have one good friend. Yeah, which is true. I do appreciate that friend, and I give them the proper thanks in this video, which I'm pretty sure they'll never watch, but if they do, then they know that I appreciate them a lot, that they stuck with me when others didn't. And that's kind of what I want to start with, the friends thing. It's not really like, oh, you lost all your friends, so what? People do that all the time. But like, these friends, I literally grew up with these friends like since preschool, like before even kindergarten. Preschool, which I don't think everybody knows what that is, because I found out too that some places don't have preschool. It's a school where you learn like things you need to learn for kindergarten, because preschool, so you learn how to you learn some shapes, some numbers, all that stuff, and kind of prepare you for kindergarten. So when you go there, because in kindergarten they teach you, but just so you don't fall behind, you're kind of ahead. So that's when they were friends with me since that time, since like we were like what 4 or 5. So it was kind of like it kind of really hurt whenever coming graduating from high school, um, not having them anymore as friends. Even though I grew up with them, I met their families, I know their moms, their dads, their siblings, and now they're done, like they're gone. And yes, I could reach out to them, but I'll explain the situation better before I get into that. It's so freshman year, for my freshman year, I told you, like, a group of 15, at least 15, and we were pretty good friends. But then eventually, because it was a mixture of girls and guys, I kind of like probably like 8 guys and 7 girls, which is kind of like split down the middle. And people dated within the group, and that caused some problems here and there. But like eventually, we all got over it. But for some reason, freshman year, like the girls split off from the guys, like completely. Not they didn't split up, but they would hang out mostly with the girls, and then guys with the guys. And very few people, except for a couple of exceptions, which I was one of them, would hang out with both. I was not allowed to, but I could go to the guys group, talk to them, and like the girls group would like stand right next to us, and I can just go over there and talk to them. And that's kind of how it was for the couple. Like I think one of the guys and the girls got into an argument, and all the girls sided with the girls, and I didn't really side with anybody because I didn't know what exactly had happened. Because at that time, I think I missed that day of school, so I didn't know, and I think eventually I was told. But even by that time, the fight had like it was no longer about the fight, and just kind of like standing your ground. And I was like, no, I picked this side, so I'm gonna stay here. So then eventually, the guy group and the girl group completely departed from each other. And yeah, there was like one girl would talk to one guy from the guy group, but they would never be together, the whole group. Like that one guy would ask that girl, hey, let's go to lunch together, and they go talk to each other as friends, whatever. And that's kind of how I was too. It wasn't really anything like super serious where I was like, oh, these guys don't want to talk to me and I'm just gonna ignore them. I talked to all the guys and all the girls still. And then eventually, the guys became 2 groups as well. And right, it sounds kind of mean right now, but it's kind of like, and I'll explain more why. It came more off as like the one group was like the alcoholics, and one group was just like I won't say regular, but they were just not doing alcohol, not like drinking all the time, which kind of sounds bad. But the one group that drink a lot, I say alcoholics, they're not actual alcoholics, but they just used to. They drink more than the other group, and whenever they would get together, like the whole group, they would drink. They would always have beer and whatever. And I didn't drink because I was always told not to. But I did drink at one other party, not like a lot. But I took it. I drank like a sip of beer just to see what it would taste like. And it wasn't like people always say, oh, it's either love it or you hate it. But it was kind of just like whatever. Like I understand the point of drinking is to get drunk, and some beers don't taste that good. But me, the idea of drinking didn't really ever appeal to me. So that was the only time I drank. And technically it wasn't my first time because I did drink another alcoholic beverage with my parents. I took a little sip because I wanted some. And they wanted to show me that it was nasty. And that was when I was a little bit younger, like maybe a year younger, 8th grade, I think. But I never had like beer. So I was like, I wonder what that tastes like, if it's any different. It wasn't, so it was kind of just like whatever for me. But they would always drink. And so you're probably like, okay, how does that have to do anything about breaking up with friends? But this is where the first like decision came up to what do I wanna do? Hang out with the first group, which is people who drink a lot. I wasn't pressured into drinking, and then the second group, which didn't really do much, like besides what they normally did, hang out, go to class, have fun wherever. And at first I couldn't really decide, so I kind of like did the same thing with the girls. But at this point, the girls kind of broke off from all the groups together, except for the particular guy friends. So then I hang out with both of them, like switching between. When I talk to people about this, they're like, "Oh, it sounds like you were the fake one," but it wasn't really fake. It was kind of just like I was truthful to both of them. I did what I did do things that can be like, I guess, can be considered like fake as switching between the groups. It wasn't really like switching. Like I didn't pick favorite one for the other. I was just genuinely friends with both groups, and I didn't know like that we had to pick one. I was like, oh, they just don't want to talk to each other right now. So I assumed things would be better, but things never did. Man, this is when I kind of encountered my first like act of like being fake. Was whenever the alcoholic group, we had parties every once in a while, right? And I would get invited to them, and I would go and they would drink, and then the other group had like get-togethers too, and sometimes they would drink too, but like it was like once every like couple months at the most when they would drink at these things. But the other people like drink like every single time. And then I remember one time, this is like the first time I encountered like, excuse me, being like fake per se. They invited me to a party, and they were planning a party. I didn't know about it at the time, and then I overheard one of them talking about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we need to get alcohol to this party." Right? I was like, "Oh, I can buy it, but I don't have money to pay for all of it." So then one of the other, this is me overhearing it during class, because I sat behind two of the people of the group, and they were talking like they had already planned it out. Like, oh, we have that party still going on right next week, and because they had it on Fridays, so Saturday they can get over the hangover, and then Sunday be better by the time they go back to class. And they're just like, yeah, this is still good for this week, for next week. So then it was kind of just like, oh, they're having a party. Like they didn't invite me. Maybe like they just planned it like today or something. And maybe they did just plan it today. I can't really tell you that it wasn't. But in that instance, like, oh, they might turn around like invite me. But they're like thinking about like, okay, how do we get alcohol? Or how do we get money for alcohol? And like I was gonna like chime in like, oh, I can like put some in, right? Because like I don't mind putting some in for a couple of friends, right? But they didn't tell me anything. I was like, okay, cool. I guess not. We're not. I won't bring it up or anything. They'll bring it up. They'll talk to me whenever they want to talk to me. So then that day goes through. That was like I was on the Friday the week before. So then Saturday comes along. Sunday, there's a group chat. They have a group chat. I didn't know about this yet, but they have a group chat, right? That I'm not in. And then they're talking about it. And then Monday comes along. This is during, we have breaks. We have two classes, then we have a break, a 15-minute break, right? So then I go to my other group of friends, the other ones that don't drink that much, and then I'm talking to them, and then I asked them, hey, did you just hear about so and so? The other people having a party. Like, oh, we don't care about that, right? It doesn't matter. All they're gonna do is drink, and we're not about that. And I was like, alright, cool, whatever. Maybe they got invited, but they didn't want to go. So then on my way back to class, this is the class where I have the other two people at. They were like talking, right? Whatever. And I don't know if they didn't notice me or they didn't want to talk to me. I think it's kind of the latter now in the future, like for future in later eyes, you know. But they were talking about it, and then they're talking about stuff, and then eventually it came up about the party. And they're like, okay, we got so much money for stuff, but I can probably buy us like 2 cases of beers. That's not gonna be enough for all of us if we all drink. So then, they're like, we need to get a little bit more money at least to buy 3 cases, so it's not a boring party. And I didn't say anything still, cause like if I'm not, technically I'm not going, so I'm not gonna put money for a party that I'm not gonna go to. So then, like, we go to class, and then after class, they were on their phones all the time, which I'm presuming they were talking to other people in the group chat. So then I was just like, okay. So they're probably talking to other people in the group chat. Nothing like, and talking to the other people, right? And then like eventually, I've come to find out that one of the friends was like, hey, one of the people in the group was like, why don't we ask Ivor? He usually comes to the parties and puts money in for alcohol. Before I had to put in like $15 for alcohol. That was the day I did drink one because I put some of it in. So might as well like drink a little bit to see what's like, to see why they like it so much. And I did. And like I told you that I didn't really care for it. But so they're like, yeah, talk. So then one of my friends was like, yeah, talk to him about it. And they did. And they asked me, you know, like, yeah, sure. And I for some reason I didn't ask like when to party, where it is. They just asked me, hey, can you give us so much, I'm sure an amount of money. I think it was just like $15 or something for alcohol, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I assumed that was like an invite to the party, right? But I guess I was wrong, because I was like, okay, I know it's Friday, right? So then I was like, okay, maybe now that I'm at it. So then this is why I found out that I was the group chat. I was like, okay. One of my friends turned around and then started texting. I was like, oh, who are you texting? He goes, oh, the group chat for the party, right? So okay, so now I know they have a group chat now. And so I was like, okay, now that I'm giving them $15, I think I ended up giving $50. I was like, they'll add me into it. It was a Twitter group chat, and I never got invited. I never got put in. That day I didn't get put into it. I was like, okay, maybe they want me to give the money first, so they know that I'm not just gonna like show up to the party and not give anything. Because the idea was what happens is one of the elder brothers of someone, not of the group, but someone's elder brother, a friend that they know, they're like, okay, we want this, can your brother get for me? And then the brother gives it to them, and then they give it to someone else, right, with the group. And the plan is usually at the party that happened, right? So I was like, okay, maybe when I give them the money, they'll like put me in the group chat so they know I'm like good for it. So then the next day comes along, and like I used to get money like $5 a day for lunch, because we would be able to go out to eat off campus and stuff. So then I was like, okay, maybe. So then the next day comes along. I like, if I don't eat, cause you eat on campus. You can eat on campus for free. Eat off campus for like the other restaurants nearby. So then I was like, okay, if whatchamacallit, if then the next day I was like, I'll give him the money, because I had some money saved up, because I don't always eat out. So I was like, here you go, here's 15. So in my head I was like, okay, now they're gonna put me in the group chat. And then that day comes, now it's Tuesday, right? I give them the money, and I'm like, okay, and they still didn't give me anything. They didn't put me into anything. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll tell me in person. So then I was like, okay. And I know the story kind of seems like, oh, like, how the hell are you so gullible, right? How are you gonna give them money and not like, okay, when's the party at? What is this for? You know? But like, I was like, oh, they're my friends, dude. They'll tell me eventually, right? It doesn't matter. They're good for it. But they never like, you can kind of predict the story. They never told me when the party was. They never told me anything, and they took my $15 and just had a party, right? Blah blah. They drank, whatever. Right. So then I was kind of like put a sour taste in my mouth. So then from then on, I started hanging out with the other group, the other ones that were, and these guys, just to reference now, became like the friends I hung out for the rest of high school. But I hang out with them more. I would occasionally go to other people, but no longer attended the parties, and no longer give any money for parties. And so then that's kind of how that happened. And then I was still really good friends with all the girls. I wouldn't hang out with them, but we had class together. Every time I walked by, we would talk. We were like, you know, you pass by, like, hey, so and so, hey, what's up? We'll talk. Hey, did you hear this happened? I'm like, oh no, what the heck? This happened, or whatever. And one of the girls I was really good friends with. And this is like the one of the times that the whole group actually got together again. It's for her party. And and everybody was invited except me. It wasn't like they didn't want to invite me; they just forgot about me. The entire group, not just the group A, the alcoholics, which is group A from now on, but group B and the girls. So these people that I called friends, who I like gave money to occasionally, whenever they had to have parties and stuff, and people I hung out for literally my almost my entire life. They forgot about me. Some people from the group weren't there for since the beginning, but some of the girls were, and some of the guys were from both groups. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I guess that's when it kind of like really hit me. Like, damn, like these these people kind of like either they I'm not I don't know if this is more my fault or kind of the group, but I was like, either I'm extremely forgettable, which I don't think I am, and at the time I didn't think I was, and I still don't think I am now. But it's kind of just like I didn't. Maybe I was like, maybe this was like on me, right? Maybe I did something like maybe I didn't show up to like class that day or something. I can't remember, right? I don't know exactly what made them like, you know what, Avor, let's forget it's not right. And the only reason I came to find out that they had a party and I wasn't invited to is because it was happening on Saturday, and there wasn't any. There was alcohol, but because the whole group drank, but not an excessive amount like the first group. So then that Saturday was a party, and come find Monday, cause so someone asked me, one of my better friends from Group A was like, hey, how come you didn't come to so and so's birthday party we had Saturday? And I was like, what do you mean a party Saturday? And they're like, yeah, we had a party this past Saturday. How come you didn't show up? And I was like, I was never invited. He was like, no, I'm pretty sure I invited you. I was like, on what? He goes, I didn't text you or something? And I pulled up my text, like, no, I didn't get a text. And he goes, how about Twitter? And I checked everything, right? And obviously nothing was there. So then he was like, what the heck? And then he told everybody else, and they're like, no, I thought you would invite him. I thought he would invite him. I thought you wouldn't, right? And they kind of, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was more of a, they forgot about me, or like, they were like, oh, someone else would invite him. And then, but no one like ever clarified, like, hey, did anybody invite, did anybody invite him? It was never, like, they never put that much thought into it afterwards. So then, all they said was like, oh man, sorry, right? And I was like, okay, I guess, whatever. But that, it still kind of really affected me. Like that I wasn't invited to one of my close friends at the time. Like birthday party, so right. And it's kind of how that's kind of like, it wasn't like the last straw, but it was kind of like, then I was at that point I was like, Group A isn't really like someone that is, they're not concerned with me, so why should I concern myself with them? And that's kind of when I broke off from the group completely. And I was like, I'm gonna hang out with Group B, I wouldn't say better friends, but at the time better friends. And because whenever they had parties, they would talk to me, you know, because they weren't really parties, they were just hanging out. So hey, let's hang out at so and so's house, or let's go here, right, whatever. And I didn't really like, at the time the Group B was the better group, like I said, and I kind of just hung out with them after that. Every once in a while, because I had Group A kids in my class, so I would talk to them. They would invite me to parties, so I'm like, nah. Because eventually they would invite me to party. Like, oh, we're all putting in for beers. Do you want to come? I'm like, nah, I'm not going. I can't. I'm busy that day or whatever, just to get out of it. Because they would always bring it up whenever money was involved. Like, if there was, because they do have parties where they don't drink, and like they're like, hey, let's just hang out at so and so's house and like play this game, and we'll go, right? But whenever, like, I never heard about those. Maybe they stopped doing them, and maybe I'm like judging them before they have a chance or anything. But those parties apparently stopped, and I would only hear about parties whenever there was alcohol involved, and they wanted some money to get put in. So then fast forward, now I'm just hanging out with the Group B, and I don't really know I was hanging out with Group B, right, and that's kind of like where freshman year ended. And that's, I think it might. Let me check real quick how long has this episode gone on for. It's been going on. I can't even tell. For around 30 minutes. So I feel like that's probably where I'm gonna end the first episode at. I'll probably record a good amount of episodes today, and I probably won't edit anything out unless I absolutely have to. But that's kind of how a freshman year ended. I ended up breaking off from the entire 15-person group or so to like 4 people. That's kind of where it happened. But then Group B continued to grow, as in like we added more people from other groups, or other people from other groups. You know, someone would join the football team, and then like 2 people they became friends with like 2 people from that. And then like I was the manager of the cross country team, and then I got a friend or 2 from there, and they came, and then then a good amount of us were on the track team. So then we got groups from there, and then we ended up probably maybe having a group of like 7, 8 of us. I think 8 of us, including myself, at the end of freshman year. And that's kind of where I'll end it. So I'll head back home, and then I'll end this off, and then I'll send this up. But that's kind of what these things are gonna be about. I'll play a game, go forward, whatever in the story. But for the most part, it's kind of me just talking about what's like been bothering me recently, and if eventually if for some reason this gets big, or I become big from this, and like anybody watching this wants to come on, I can and talk about things, and if they're comfortable obviously talking about kind of stuff like that, then I'll be 100% down to. And I'm not saying like, oh, if you come talk to me I'll make you better. It's kind of just like a way to vent things if you want to vent them. And no names, obviously. It's up to you. But if you don't want to use your name, I'm completely fine not knowing anything about that. Just come on, say things, and there's more stuff that happened freshman year. But that's kind of what happened freshman year regarding my friend group. That's kind of where I ended off. Next episode, I'll talk about other things that happened freshman year that kind of messed me up, and this next topic is pretty serious. So I will put a disclaimer at the beginning. I have to do that. And then, like I said, these things aren't my business saying like what actually happened and all the information, but I will give minor details, and then explain how that affected me. But I'm gonna chop this tree and I'll end it there. So yes. So if you did like this, I'll probably call it Therapy Farm with DJ Misterio, and it'll probably go in series. And if this ever does, like if I continue doing this, I will run out of things to talk about. But in that case, I'll probably just continue playing this and just call it something else. Or like if they ever just get big, then I'll do other things. But for now, that's what we'll end it off. So if you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about things that have bothered me for a couple years now, leave a like. If you want to hear or at some point join a call with me and talk about things that have been bothering you, subscribe to see later on how this goes on. So that's gonna be it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.